Hi, welcome. Happy you're here. Thanks for showing up. I'm Lisa, and this is day 24. And the topic for today is God's voice speaks to me all through the day. So, what we're focusing on now is strengthening God's voice, and God's voice speaks to you all through the day. And the reason it seems as if you can't hear that voice is because the ego's voice has been front and center. And that's the voice that normally we all focus on throughout our entire lives. And now you're recognizing that there's two voices. And what I'm going to do today is focus on workbook lesson 49 in A Course in Miracles. And I also want to tell a story about Bill Thetford and Helen Schuckman. And I don't want to focus a whole lot on that story. They are the ones that brought A Course in Miracles into the world. And there's many articles and interviews that you can read online if you're interested. And I'm going to save that story for later, but it's a very good one. But for right now, I want you to really just know that there's a part of your mind that is in constant connection with God, whether you know it or not. And this part of your mind is calm, at peace, still, in joy, and it knows all things. It knows the whole picture. It knows the plan. It knows all things. And there's another part of your mind which is a wild delusion. It's highly chaotic. It attacks. It's vicious. It pretends to be nice. It's confused. It's jealous. It's sad. It's sick. It's just crazy land. And you thought this voice was you, and you've been listening to it. And I want to read from workbook lesson 49. And I want to show you quite simply how you can catch this voice. And you are training yourself in a systematic way to see the two voices and choose which one you want to identify with. So it says, God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It is quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. The part of your mind in which truth abides is in constant communication with God, whether you are aware of it or not. It is the other part of your mind that functions in the world and obeys the world's laws. It is this part that is, and it says three things, constantly distracted, disorganized, and highly uncertain. And I love that because now I can really check in and see, okay, if I'm any of these three things, then I'm identifying with the mind that's not real. And I don't want to do that anymore. So am I distracted, disorganized, highly uncertain? And you'll know if you are by the way that you feel. And that's the ego, and it obeys the laws of separation. And we're not doing that anymore. We're now choosing for God, we're choosing love, and we're paying attention to that part of our mind, and it's the only part that's real. So it says the part that is listening to the voice for God is calm, always at rest, and wholly certain. It is really the only part that there is. The other part is a wild delusion, frantic, distraught, but without reality of any kind. Try not to listen to it today. That's it. Try not to listen to that voice today. Try to identify with the part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly, reminding you that your Creator has not forgotten His Son. So I want you to read the rest of this lesson. It's very short. And what I want to talk about with Bill and Helen is I want to kind of skip the part of how the Course came into time and space, and that's all online, and there's books about it. What I want to talk about is their joint decision to find a better way. So they were both professors of psychology at Columbia University in New York City in the 60s. And the department they worked in was highly chaotic, lots of fighting. And they had these weekly meetings, and And Bill one day said to Helen, they were colleagues, he said, there must be a better way. And I'm determined to find it. And she said, I'll join with you. And that's what healing is. Remember, it's joining. You join with something, someone or something. So you're joining with God, you're joining with another person. And what happened is they walked into that meeting, and because he was determined to find the other way, he wasn't waiting for the other people to change. That he was coming from now a new perspective where he was listening differently, he was not fighting back, he was not defending himself. And what happened was, after that, is Helen began to receive dreams. And she was an atheist, she didn't believe in any of this stuff. And then she began to hear a voice. And the voice said, this is A Course in Miracles, please take notes. And she was very afraid. And she called Bill, and Bill said, well, do what it says, I'll help you. And for the next 7 years, she took down the voice that was coming through. And she said it wasn't a voice with words, although she somehow understood it was like rapid dictation. And she took it down in shorthand, and he read it over the next day, and then he typed them up in notes, and it took him 7 years, and that's what A Course in Miracles is. And she identified the voice as Jesus, the same guy that walked the earth 2,000 years ago. But right up to her death, she says, but I don't believe it. But she still took it down. So we have this brilliant Course in Miracles. And what I want to talk about today is that Bill wanted to hear the voice the same way that Helen was hearing it. And so he asked Helen to ask Jesus, what do I do? And Jesus gave a prayer for Bill to say, and it was, Lord, here I am. And that's it. And what he said was that Bill needed a very quick, short thing to remember to make that connection. Lord, here I am. So it's not here I am in a physical condition. It's here I am available to you to hear. And Jesus, in another one of the lessons, lesson 153 in A Course in Miracles, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. So without those fences, there's my safety. And he says to pause for a moment. So there's the pause. And hear me tell you, I am here. So this is how you begin to hear God's voice. It's the recognition that I'm here. I'm open now. I'm not listening to the ego's voice. Lord, here I am. I'm open to hear. And then it's like this reversal where you hear, I am here. Here I am here. And there's the connection. And so you're saying, okay, God is with me. My guide is with me. There's one with me who knows the way, and I'm now listening. And in the early notes, it says that this, because we've never done it before, it takes great willingness and effort to hear. And it takes focus. And Bill was highly unfocused, and most of us are highly unfocused. And so now the focus is sort of retreating away from our plans and making ourselves available. So today I simply ask for you to make the space to hear God's voice, to be aware that there is a part of your mind that's calm, and just to identify with that part. And you don't have to push for anything. You don't have to try to do anything. It happens of itself because it's already happening. You're already in communication. So have a great day. God's voice is speaking to you all through the day. And the ego's voice, try not to listen to it. It's not your identity. We're listening now to the voice of truth. And I thank you for being here. I love you. I honor you. I see you.